raise fares and you will lose your license, PM warns school bus operators. And government announces the revamped Malaysia My Second Hope program. Good morning. We begin with this story. A fire broke out at one of the building complexes at Resorts World Genting in Genting Highlands, prompting the evacuation of thousands of staff and visitors at the popular Hilltop resort on Friday afternoon. Several video clips of the blaze were widely shared on social media, showing plumes of thick black smoke rising into the air and flames raging from the Sky Avenue shopping mall. Fortunately, no casualties or injuries were reported in the 4:30 p.m. incident. The State Fire and Rescue Department said the fire had started on the second floor of the shopping mall before spreading to the third and fourth floors and only involved the external structure of the building. A total of 56 firemen from Genting, Bentong and Slayang fire stations, aided by Jandabay volunteer firefighters, were deployed to the scene. The flames were brought under control at about 6:30 p.m. and completely extinguished about 7 p.m. The cause of the fire is being investigated. Resorts World Genting said evacuation was carried out immediately to ensure the safety of the public and staff. No other areas in the resort were affected by the incident. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has issued a firm warning to owners of commercial vehicles benefiting from the subsidized diesel control system, SKDS, cautioning against price increases despite enjoying diesel subsidies. Citing school buses, he said those who increase prices despite benefiting from diesel subsidies risk having their licenses revoked.
Kamu diberi subsidi minyak dan kamu naik, kamu jaga. Saya tidak tahu orang lain. Kalau kamu naik juga dalam keadaan kamu dapat subsidi, kami tarik lesen kamu. Batalkan syarat kamu. Kalau tidak, anak-anak kita sekolah dia beban.
Anwar, who is also the finance minister, said this in his speech at the Madani Aspiration Gathering of Public Service Counselling Associates, AKRAB, in Putrajaya on Friday. He reiterated that every sen saved from the targeted diesel subsidy implementation will be returned to the people specifically to support the needs of public transportation and cash aid for the poor. He also reminded eligible owners of commercial vehicles to register with the Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry to receive their fleet cards under the SKDS. This will enable them, including school bus operators, to enjoy the monthly diesel quota of 1,800 litres at 1 ringgit 88 sen per litre. Beginning last Monday, the price of diesel at all retail stations in Peninsular Malaysia is set at 3 ringgit 35 sen per litre, the market price without subsidy. The implementation of the targeted diesel subsidy is expected to save the government around 4 billion ringgit annually. Now, Anwar has denied that the government is considering hiring Singaporeans to teach English in Malaysia. Instead, the Prime Minister clarified that the proposal discussed between him and his Singaporean counterpart, Lawrence Wong, during the latter's visit to Malaysia recently, is actually a volunteer program.
Dengarlah dulu, kadang jadi pakar-pakar 3 minit, kemudian terus lontar di media sosial. Faktanya salah. Apa yang salahnya? Salahnya ialah bahawa kita sekarang akan melantik guru-guru bahasa Inggeris dari Singapura. Itu salah. Yang saya bicarakan dengan Perdana Menteri Lawrence Wong ialah mengadakan skim bantuan atau melantik seperti seorang sukarelawan yang dibayar oleh pemerintah Singapura untuk pergi ke kawasan-kawasan, terutama di kawasan miskin bandar dan desa dan pedalaman Sabah dan Sarawak untuk mengajar bahasa Inggeris.
At a press conference with Wong on Wednesday, Anwar said they had discussed the possibility of sending Singaporean teachers to teach English or other subjects in Malaysia. However, some quarters have rejected the proposal, saying Malaysia had enough locals who could do the job. On another matter, the Prime Minister has ordered the police to conduct a thorough investigation into the acid attack on Harimau Malaya player Faisal Halim and the murder case of an autistic child, Zain Ryan Abdul Matin. Anwar stated that he understands the public's concerns regarding the injustices committed, but investigations into the case need to be conducted through the proper process without any outside interference and without being swayed by misperceptions or personal interpretations of the law.
Itu memprihatinkan. Saya kebetulan Perdana Menteri, tapi juga saya juga manusia. Saya juga nak tahu mengapalah sampai jadi begini. Siapa yang sampai hati boleh dera dan bunuh dengan kejam seorang anak ini. Ya? Kalau saya nak polis jawab esok. Tapi proses kena lalui.
On Thursday, Faisal made his first public appearance since the attack at a media conference in Shah Alam, stating that the individual who poured acid on him needs to be identified and brought to court to face justice. While the case of Zain Ryan's murder in Damansara Damai, Selangor last December has not been fully unraveled to this day. The victim's parents, however, have been charged on Thursday with neglecting the child in a manner that could cause physical harm. Meanwhile, Datuk Sri Muhammad Shuhaili Muhammad Zain stressed that police have yet to establish the motive behind the acid attack on Faisal, as well as several incidents involving other footballers last month. The Bukit Aman Criminal Investigation Department CID Director said authorities have widened their scope of investigations, which is now in its second phase.
Saya melihat daripada skop yang lebih luas, so kita telah pun melawat ataupun mengambil beberapa keterangan di FAM sendiri, ya, dua fasa di FAM, baik itu kita dah masuk fasa yang kedua dan kita masih lagi buat masa ini belum mendapat establish motif. Motif itu kita tidak dapat establish ke atas ketiga-tiga serangan itu.
Speaking to reporters on Friday, Shuhaili added that the fingerprints and photo fit of the alleged suspect in Faisal's case have not been of much help either. The police also face constraints as there were no witnesses to the incident. On May 2nd, Terengganu FC winger Akhir Rashid sustained injuries to his head and leg after being attacked by two robbers at his home in Kuala Terengganu. 3 days later, Faisal suffered fourth-degree burns after he was splashed with acid by an unidentified assailant at a shopping centre in Damansara. On May 7th, Johor Darut Takzim JDT midfielder Safiq Rahim also became a victim of an attack after his car's rear windscreen was smashed by unknown assailants in Johor Bahru. In another development, Shuhaili said police have arrested 27 social media influencers on Thursday for allegedly promoting online gambling on their social media platforms. Following 2 months of intelligence gathering with the cooperation of the MCMC, 23 women and 4 men aged 21 to 35 were arrested in the capital city Selangor, Negeri Sembilan, Johor, Perlis, Kedah and Pulau Pinang.
Modus operandi yang digunakan ini oleh influencer ini ialah mereka ini akan dipilih oleh sindiket-sindiket yang menilai mereka daripada sudut jumlah followers mereka. Okey, lagi ramai followers, lagi ramailah bayaran yang diberikan. So jumlah bayaran yang boleh diterima oleh seseorang influencer atas satu platform saja ialah sebanyak 1,500 sehingga 8,000 setiap bulan untuk satu platform.
Shuhaili added that based on initial investigations, it was found that the influencers have been actively promoting online gambling to their followers on social media since last year. He also said that the influencers were usually active on 2 social media platforms, and those arrested had hidden their illicit activities behind selling other products, such as cosmetics, on social media. 30 mobile phones were also seized from the suspects. All those detained will be remanded and investigated under the Common Gaming Houses Act and the Communications and Multimedia Act. Meanwhile, in a separate case, Shuhaili revealed that the police had arrested another social media influencer by the name Miza Ozawa on June 6th for promoting prostitution, selling self-made pornographic videos, and unlicensed sex medication.
Ubat-ubatan ataupun produk ataupun video lucah. Dalam video lucah itu nanti dia akan menjanjikan sekiranya you beli produk ini, dia akan datang dan melakukan whatever sexual activities bersama dengan pembeli.
Shuhaili added that the 27-year-old influencer was raking in around 20,000 ringgit a month from her illegal activities. A foreign man and a woman in their 20s who acted in the sex videos, along with 2 girls aged 17 and 20, were also arrested along with the influencer. During the arrest, cops also seized 30,000 ringgit in cash, a laptop and mobile phone. All the suspects have been remanded for 14 days until June 20th to facilitate investigations into the case. Now, new regulations for the Malaysia My Second Home MM2H program have received cabinet approval. Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Datuk Sri Tiong King Sing announced that under the updated program, the Platinum category now requires participants to maintain 5 million ringgit in fixed deposit kept onshore. However, unlike previously, it no longer offers the option of permanent residence PR status. In a statement on Friday, Tiong stated that participants in all categories of the MM2H program are not eligible to apply for PR status. All participants must also fulfill the minimum stay requirement of residing in Malaysia for a cumulative total of 60 days annually. All agents under the program must re-register according to the new regulations and conditions if their license has expired. The new conditions for obtaining a business license to operate tourism under the program also saw the paid-up capital requirement being raised from 50,000 ringgit to a minimum of 200,000 ringgit. Further details on these new conditions can be found in the MM2H business license application guidelines available on the ministry's website. Over 1 million Muslim pilgrims begin Hajj pilgrimage. News from the Foreign Front when we return.
It's time for progress and drive change together.
Women play a critical part in their communities, right? When we empower a woman through their businesses, their income improves, they're better able to support themselves, their children, and now also better able to play a role in supporting their communities.
Just do it, because you can't have that kind of self-doubt out there for you to do it. You know, what's the worst that can happen?
Catch Women Talk this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3, live stream on Tonton.
Pembunuhan yang mencetuskan tanda tanya.
Kes apa, bos?
Kelibat lelaki misteri mendorong Fatima untuk merungkai setiap inci kes.
Difahamkan mangsa ditemui dalam keadaan mengerikan. Boleh terangkan?
Respek sikit ni dah.
Biarpun ada yang cuba menutup kebenaran.
Dijerut dengan apa, Wak?
I deserve the story.
Metro Crime Series mulai 15 Jun, Khamis hingga Sabtu 9 malam. Di Lestari TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Menuntut keadilan yang terpendam.
Diorang boleh baca gerak-geri kita tau. Buat tugasan kita semakin mencabar.
Bersumpah pada kebenaran. Inilah perjuangan terakhir demi keamanan.
Mohon bantuan segera, apa?
Gerak khas The Finale setiap Ahad 11.30 pagi di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
We're back with news from the Foreign Front. Millions of Muslims from around the world, including 31,600 Malaysians, converged at Islam's holiest site on Friday to officially start the Hajj pilgrimage. Saudi authorities expected the number of visitors to exceed 2 million this year, as temperatures in Mecca are likely to reach more than 40 degrees Celsius over the weekend. The annual pilgrimage began with crowds of worshippers circling the Kaaba at Mecca's Grand Mosque. As has been the case for several years, the pilgrimage falls this year during the hot Saudi summer, with officials predicting average highs of 44 degrees Celsius. Mitigation measures this year include misting systems and heat-reflective road coverings. Nigel Farage's Reform UK party overtook Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's Conservatives in an opinion poll for the first time ahead of Britain's election on July 4th. The Thursday's poll by YouGov put Reform UK on 19%, up from 17% previously, and the Conservative Party unchanged on 18%. Meanwhile, the opposition Labour Party topped the poll with 37%. Reform's poll rating has risen since Farage, best known for his successful campaign for Britain to leave the European Union, said he was returning to frontline politics taking over leadership of the party and standing for election to Parliament. The survey of 2,211 people was carried out June 12th and 13th after Sunak pledged to cut $21.7 billion of taxes for working people in his party's election manifesto. Britain has a first-past-the-post electoral system, which means reform could pick up millions of votes across the country without winning any of Parliament's 650 individual constituencies. Moving on, Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis reshuffled his cabinet on Friday to boost the government's battle with a cost of living crisis, but kept his foreign and finance ministers in place to show policy continuity. The changes were announced after Mitsotakis' centre-right party performed worse than expected in Sunday's election to the European Parliament. Mitsotakis' New Democracy Party, which has led Greece since 2019, came first in Sunday's election with 28.3% of the vote, but it missed a 33% target set by Mitsotakis and was below the 40% the party received in a national election in June 2023. As 59% of registered voters abstained in the EU vote, the 56-year-old leader has attributed the protest vote to the high cost of living, saying his government will try within budget limits to combat spiraling prices of food products. The Japanese authorities have issued an evacuation order for 313,700 residents in the city of Naha in the southern Okinawa prefecture due to a landslide threat. The evacuation was reportedly prompted by heavy torrential rain that is continuing in the prefecture. The Japan Meteorological Agency on Friday announced record short-term heavy rainfall of about 110.5 millimeters in a number of cities in the region. Due to this, the fourth level of threat has been announced, implying a recommendation to evacuate to a shelter while the evacuation is still possible. Meanwhile, the fifth level of threat requires immediate emergency measures to save lives, including in situations where it is impossible to move to the evacuation centers due to security issues. Jia battles hard before claiming a spot in semis. Action from the Australian Open when we come back.
Saya lima jongang.
Oh, lima.
Saya bukan. Dandan jongang keluar. Jangan marah-marah. Apa marah-marah ni? Lebih baik kita tengok melodi nak. Jangan marah-marah. Kalau kau nak tengok cerita panas, nak tengok gaduh-gaduh macam penat aku. Setiap hari Ahad 12.30 tengah hari hanya di TV3 dan juga stream melalui tonton. Inspirasi generasi bersamamu di TV3.
It's time for progress and drive change together.
Women play a critical part in their communities, right? When we empower a woman through their businesses, their income improves, they're better able to support themselves, their children, and now also better able to play a role in supporting their communities.
Just do it because you can't have that kind of self-doubt out there for you to do it. You know, what's the worst that can happen?
Catch Women Talk this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3, live stream on Tonton.
Sabtu lagi padu bila kita lepak sambil layan cerita pilihan di TV3. Bisu 1 Jun. Minky 8 Jun. Jubah dari Mekah 15 Jun. Bila tiba saatnya 22 Jun. Kau Langit, Aku Laut 29 Jun. Stand by okey depan TV jam 2 petang di cerita pilihan TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
It's time for sports. Badminton, the 2024 Australian Open. Professional men's singles shuttler Li Zijia continued his progress as he came back from a set down to beat Japan's Kenta Nishimoto in the quarterfinals on Friday.
Zijia took 67 minutes to overcome 7th seed Nishimoto 16-21, 21-12, 21-12. The world number 8, who has now reached his third semi-final in 4 tournaments he played since the Thailand Open last month, will next face world number 37 Li Jiahao of Taiwan. Zijia has only won twice in their 5 encounters. Meanwhile, professional mixed doubles pair Tan Kiang Meng, Lai Peijing also advanced to the semi-finals after defeating compatriots Chong Hoon Jiang, Go Pei Ki 21-15, 23-21. The 5th seeds are set to face an uphill task against world number 5 and top seeds Zhang Zhenbang, Wei Yaxin of China. In the men's doubles, 3rd seeds Chung Hoon Jian, Muhammad Haikal Nazri are the sole Malaysian representatives to reach semi-finals after 2 other pairs crashed out. The 2024 Orleans Masters champions defeated Rizky Hidayat Frankie Wijaya Putra of Australia 21-16, 18-21, 21-12 to challenge top seeds He Jiting, Reng Jiangyu of China, who outdid Malaysia's Kang Kai-shing, Aaron Tai 21-14, 21-12 in a 27-minute match.
Turning to golf now, the 2024 U.S. Open. Rory McIlroy made the ideal start to his bid for a long overdue 5th major title with a flawless opening 65 at Pinehurst.
2 days after reconciling with his wife Erica and dismissing the divorce petition he filed last month, McIlroy outshone playing partners Scottie Scheffler and Alexander Schauffele to share the lead with Patrick Cantlay on 5 under par. The world number 3 holed from 7 feet for a birdie on the 4th, chipped in from short of the green for another on the next and birdied the 10th, 16th and 18th to equal his lowest opening score in the US Open. Cantlay had been among the early starters and carded 6 birdies in 5 under par 65 to match the first round score of Martin Kaymer on his way to a runway victory here in 2014. Master champion Scheffler and USPGA winner Schauffele could only shoot 71 and 70 respectively. Sweden's Ludvig Aberg was a shot off the pace after returning a 66 on his US Open debut and just the 3rd major championship of his career.
Middlemen arrested after collecting bribes from illegal businesses. The details after the short break.
5 sebab anda perlu menonton cerita Rama TV3 Jun ini. Pertama, ketabahan hidup bermadu.
Betul ke cara you ni?
Kedua, penyesalan tidak berpenghujung.
Mak!
Ketiga, niat yang disalah erti.
Manusia ke Allah?
Keempat, misteri sebuah kehilangan.
You suka Daniel kan?
Kelima, cerita Rama TV3, satu destinasi untuk semua telefilm hebat kegemaran anda dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
It's time for progress and drive change together.
Women play a critical part in their communities, right? When we empower a woman through their businesses, their income improves, they're better able to support themselves, their children, and now also better able to play a role in supporting their communities.
Just do it because you can't have that kind of self-doubt out there for you to do it. You know, what's the worst that can happen?
Catch Women Talk this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3, live stream on Tonton.
Cinta yang cuba dipertahankan, diuji oleh rahsia yang meruntuhkan kepercayaan.
Chris! Dom, that's absolutely stupid! Why did you do that? Lalong di ba sinabi ko sa'yo, Bogo, matita-tita talaga ang tigas-tigas ang ulo mo? Let me explain.
Masihkah ada jalan untuk mereka kembali bersama? To Have and To Hold, setiap Sabtu 12.30 hari. Di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Thanks for staying with us. An illegal premises owner suspected of being a middleman who collected bribes for enforcement officers was remanded by the Kuala Lumpur Magistrates Court on Friday to assist with the authorities' investigations into the case. The 4-day remand order until Monday was issued by Magistrate Nur Eliana Hanim Abdul Halim following an application by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC. The MACC said in a statement that the suspect in his 60s was nabbed by graft busters in Kuala Lumpur at 6:45 p.m. on Thursday. Following his arrest, the MACC also recovered and seized almost 400,000 ringgit, which was believed to have been collected for distribution among officers and members of a local authority, as well as those from an enforcement agency. The suspect is believed to have been collecting bribes from various illegal businesses, such as massage parlors, entertainment centers, and other premises in the capital. The bribes would enable these illegal businesses to operate without action being taken by enforcement units. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azambaki confirmed the arrest, adding that investigators are currently tracking down other suspects related to the case.
Kita ni cuba mengesan lagi pemberi pembelian, tapi dapat dikesan yang pembeli yang terbesar untuk melindungi aktiviti haramnya di Kuala Lumpur.
The latest arrest followed the detention of 4 individuals, including a local authority's deputy director on June 7th. The case is being investigated under Section 16, Bracket B, Bracket A of the MACC Act. Meanwhile, Azam revealed that more than 100 companies, especially freight forwarding agents, are being investigated by the MACC over their possible involvement in smuggling imported goods through Port Klang and KLIA's cargo terminal. He added that the anti-graft agency is investigating in detail the loss of 3.5 billion ringgit in tax revenue through false declarations at Port Klang and another 2 billion ringgit in tax leakages at KLIA.
The MACC Chief Commissioner stated that investigations so far have led to the arrest of 34 customs officers at KLIA as well as 11 in Port Klang.
Kita ada list, I think more than 100 lah. More than 100. So it's quite a tedious job and very complex investigation lah. Dia ni kerana kita akan melibatkan financial investigation.
Azam said that the Customs Department and Inland Revenue Board are also involved in the probe. He also said that the MACC is using a different approach in investigating these companies compared to the investigation conducted on the customs officers. It was reported on Thursday that the MACC has arrested 17 people, including 11 customs officers, to facilitate its investigation into the flying container case in Port Klang, which resulted in a 3.5 billion ringgit in tax leakages. 34 customs officers were also detained by the MACC over their involvement in a 2 billion ringgit smuggling racket at a KLIA cargo terminal. To date, the MACC has seized 4.4 million ringgit in cash believed to be the proceeds of corruption by the customs officers suspected to be involved in the case. A hawker who allegedly stabbed his wife to death 2 days ago has been charged with murder at the Ipoh Magistrates Court on Friday. 56-year-old Wong Chun Fu nodded in understanding after the charge against him was read out before Magistrate S. Punita. No plea was recorded as murder cases fall under the purview of the High Court. Wong was accused of murdering 48-year-old Yu Mi Fung by beating her and stabbing her 3 times in the chest. It was alleged that the couple was having an argument before the man committed the murder. The incident allegedly took place at a house in Kampong Sime, Ipoh on June 12 and was witnessed by the couple's 12-year-old daughter. The court did not grant bail and the case was fixed for mention on August 19th. As Nightline draws to a close this time around, let's take a look at the Paddington Bear Experience, a new immersive experience opening at County Hall in London. The experience takes visitors on a journey starting from Paddington Station across London sites to the famed bear's home with the Brown family at number 32 Windsor Gardens. With that, I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for tuning in and have a great weekend.